Today we are here to talk about the immortality of the soul, to talk about our own lives as one of the main Spiritist principles. Let us understand the concept behind it. When we talk about immortality of the soul, some people think that after death there's nothing else. It's complete emptiness. But when we go to ancient times, the Egyptians, the Greek, the Romans, the Hindu, and many others, the Chinese, they all talked about the continuation of life. Life after life, our immortality, beyond this physical life. But what is death? When we talk about life, it's inevitable that we talk about death. And when we understand death, many say, the wise say, that we actually get to know more about life. According to the Merriam-Webster's dictionary, death is the end of life, the cause of loss of life, the state of being dead. Well, according to Spiritism, or the Spiritist thought, as Leon Denis said in chapter 10, Life and Destiny is the book. Death is but a change of state, the destruction of a fragile form which no longer furnishes life with the necessary conditions for its evolution. Everywhere else is life. All nature shows to us the perpetual renewing of everything. Nowhere is death. And as we understand the word, nowhere is annihilation, the principle of life never dies. Remember this, there is no death. So we say in Spiritism there is no death, because life continues after the perishing of the physical body. If we go back one concept we studied in the class before this one, in the previous class, we talked about creation of the universe. We talked about the elements of the universe. So God being the cause of all things, the first cause of all things, the Supreme Intelligence. And its creation, the two main elements, the spiritual principle, the material principle, and its interface, the quintessence energy, the universal cosmic fluid. Connecting both, as we understand by André Louis' own words, the evolution in two worlds. They evolve all together. So, first of all, a concept we can't miss. Material principle is also a divine creature, which means we shall understand what it is in order to respect it. Many people, they think to become spiritual is to despise the material principle or matter overall. Despise money, despise things around us, despise our body. That's not right, because all is a creation of God. And not money, of course, money isn't, but the elements that we use to put together money were created by God. They are a transformation of divine elements in nature. Everything. The computer, this podium, this screen, everything is a byproduct of the transformation of divine elements, material elements, into what we human beings put together. We've never heard that human beings were able to create something from scratch, meaning from the making of its ingredients. Even cloning. Some people think they are gods because they're able to clone, but this is not a big deal. God has been cloning all along, and now we discover just one more of the physical laws of life. But when men clone, when scientists clone beings, They are not creating the elements that they use to make clone happen. The cloning process happen. They just go one step back from what they knew and co-create on what God has already created. And in that sense, we as spiritual principles, when we were created simple and ignorant, we evolve in this collaboration with the material principle, which means the spiritual principle evolves in its many experiences in the different kingdoms of nature, from the mineral to the vegetable to the animal to the human kingdom. So in Spiritism, we don't say that we human beings we belong to the animal kingdom. No, we don't. We belong to another kingdom, which is the human kingdom. Of course, biologically, we agree with science that we are animal-like in our instincts, in our physiology, in our morphology, in a way, but spiritually speaking, we are at another level. So, in this concept, interesting enough to say that Spiritism combines the concept of creationism with evolution. In a way, both are intricated in one another, they intersect, they form our notion of what we are, of who we are. And this is our composition as incarnates. Our triple composition, we spirits, intelligent beings, are connected to the physical body through what we call our perispirit, our spiritual body. So basically, of course, this is just a diagram, but if we could put it in another form, the way the spirits named it perispirit and Kardec defined it is because it's peri-spirit, which is around the spirit, just like a pear. So basically, this spiritual body envelops, by definition, the spirit. And is molecule by molecule, the perispirit is molecule by molecule connected to the physical body. Then we conclude that the perispirit is semi-matter because it connects to us spirits, spiritual principle, spirit, and matter. So the part of the perispirit, it's many layers, if I could say in this way, connected, surrounding the spirit, are very quintessence, very spiritual-like. And the layers that are closely connected to the physical body are more material. What is the difference between us, spirits who are incarnate spirits, and discarnate spirits? Only one, the body, the physical body. Discarnate spirits also have perispirit, and in this concept, later in a very near future class, we're going to understand the implications of this concept. Because in the Spirit's book, there is a whole chapter about sensations of spirit. And we get to know that it is in this body, the spiritual body, that we feel and perceive everything around us, no matter if we're incarnate or discarnate. And that's the reason why everyone is capable of perceiving both realities. Some with greater awareness, with more ostensible capacity of perception, the ones we call mediums, and others with lesser awareness, not much of this kind of realization that they are perceiving something else. And it is through this perispirit that incarnates and discarnates connect, communicate, and can collaborate, if I can say it this way. So when we talk about life again and immortality of the soul, we ask, why should we be afraid of death? This is a parenthesis, a needed parenthesis to understand the true and whole concept of life, immortality, and death. Why should we be afraid? We shouldn't, because we learn in the Spirit's book that when we sleep, we are actually partially freeing our souls from the body. When we sleep, our spirit, for the time being, is in the state which we will be after death. So some people are very afraid of death, but every night we die a little bit. Not saying that we perish in the physical body, but we learn how to do this transformation, or this trip, the traveling to the spirit realm. Every night, some Paul said these very words to us. And this passage that we talk about, this is a drawing that was made mediumistically by the spiritualist medium Clara Barnett, and Dr. Robert Jensen, her spirit guide, inspired her and guided her to put together this drawing that shows to us precisely what happens in the passage when we go from this life under the name of death into the next one. In Kardec's words in the book Heaven and Hell, first chapters, we learn that death is actually caused by the extinction of the physical body, the organic life. The spirit doesn't run away from its body. That doesn't happen. That is not death. Some people say, oh, my loved one left me. No, loved ones don't leave us. When they died because the physical body could not sustain their lives here. All right? And in that sense, there is a rupture of the fluidic link, as you can see here. This link is cut, and then the spiritual body that envelops the spirit is freer, and there is a separation from the body and the soul through the rupture of the fluidic link. At the moment of organic life's extinction, these are some of the possibilities of what may happen. If there is a strong connection, cohesion between our physical body and the spiritual body, then when we die, there is a painful separation for the soul. So people who are very attached to their family members, which is a very materialistic feeling, because that family is all so temporary. Previous lives we lived with other people. Future lives we may live around other people as family members. So there's no reason to be attached. Love is one thing. Attachment is another thing. So when we are to our house, to our financial conditions, to our country, because when we are truly spiritual, we don't call people foreigners. We don't call ourselves foreigners, because we feel like as if we were citizens of the world, or better, the universe. So when we have attachments, we increase this bond between ourselves and the physical body. And this is bad, because when we have to cut the links, it's harder, it takes longer. And we may even feel the decomposition of the physical body. On the other hand, when there is weaker cohesion or bond between the body and the spiritual, the physical body and the spiritual body, then there is an easy separation. And that's why we're here. To learn how to live better, so we can also go back home and experience an easier freeing of our souls from that body. Bless that body that we used, but we don't need it anymore. Bless that life that we had, but we don't need it anymore. Now it's time to move ahead, move forward, and gain new experiences, new knowledge. Knowledge from the heart, knowledge in the intellect. And when people cut their lives short, there are many points of contact still binding to one another, and the soul feels the decomposition of the body. What am I talking about? I know you may be asking, Vanessa, what are you talking about? We're talking about sudden violent deaths that were caused by unhealthy behaviors. We're talking about suicide. We're talking about murder. We're talking about violent deaths. It's likely, of course, each case has an explanation and a process behind it. But overall, the spirits told Allan Kardec through the mediums at the time that when we cut our physical lives short by killing ourselves, by killing someone else, by exposing ourselves to risky, dangerous situations, then the separation between the body and the spiritual body is very difficult, because there are still many points of contact that are enhanced by the vital energy. So until that vital energy is extinguished, we may feel, we spirits, connected to the spiritual body, to that physical body that is already decomposing, we may feel the effects of decomposition. We may read more in the near future, in another class, go deeper about it, as we understand in the book Heaven and Hell. If you read the beautiful, interesting stories of suicidal spirits in that book, we're going to understand the case we're just talking about. So then we say, is there any proof, Kardec asked the spirits in the Spirits book, question 152, that the soul preserves its individuality after death? Many people say, but Vanessa, I think I go back to the source. Maybe, again, we said it in a previous class and we repeat it. Maybe this person is not expressing well what he or she means. Because do we lose our individuality? What is it for then? To gain all this knowledge? To learn about self-esteem and love? To simply go back? It seems that it's not very logical. So then the spirits answered, aren't these communications proof enough? If you didn't blind yourself to us, you would see. If you didn't close your ears to us, you would hear. You are often spoken to by an inner voice that gives you the intuition of an invisible presence near you. So basically, we know that after life we continue to be whom we are. We don't change. We improve ourselves, but we're still who we are. And we know of it in many different types of research. The near-death experience research done by Dr. Raymond Moody Jr., who in 2006 came to Baltimore, invited by the Spirit Society of Baltimore to give a wonderful talk with the renowned medium Divaldo Franco. In his book, Life After Life, he tells us about the many accounts of his patients on near-death experience and their continuity on their individuality. They felt peace. They felt that they experienced out-of-body experience. They had this tunnel experience. They saw people of light. They had a life review. And most of them, majority of them, were reluctant to return. What is the impact of this knowledge in our lives then? Well, it's wonderful to know that there is life after life. Because what a horrible idea to think that there is nothing else but this life. Humanity will know that the earthly life is only a brief passage leading to a better existence. That work done in the world isn't lost, and that the truly pure affections aren't shattered beyond hope. Death is no longer a dark road into the domains of anguish. Rather, it is a joyful flight toward the liberated, transformed self. This is very beautiful and touching, very logical, because what would be the goal of leading a correct, dignified, humanitarian life if after death there's nothing? It wouldn't be a meaning. There wouldn't be a meaning. What is the purpose? Why? And this is why we are here. To make it a better life. Because whatever we do now, we can still collect the effects of what we're sowing now. We can harvest it. And that's why Leon Denis says, I am a free intelligence. I made myself through the ages. I build slowly my individuality and my liberty. And now that I know the force and grandeur of myself, I lean upon them. If we meditate on this today, how life-changing can it be? My pride, my selfishness, my resentments, my anger, my sadness, loneliness have no meaning. Have no meaning no more. Why? Because then all of this is just temporary. Even if we feel angry, it's for a moment. But then we discard it. We transform it. Because we know it's not worth it. We know the life continues. And I build, as Leon Denis says, I build slowly my individuality. Why do I want that kind of vibration to me? I am immortal and unique. And this is the message in this class about immortality of the soul.